a way of providing some jobs for those who have no jobs at all, while they are transiting to finding proper jobs that suit their careers more. So the 500,000 teacher scheme is a very important one from the point of view of just creating direct jobs for graduates, a way of providing then 370,000 those vocational skill jobs. We're going to be training non-graduates who have at least basic education, have gone to secondary school. Some may have the West African School Certificate or GCA or that level, but the majority of them are persons who at least are literate enough to learn some skill. And we're going to be looking at 370,000. We're doing at least 10,000 per state of vocational training and skills training generally. And we expect that this will, and they will, of course, after the training, they'll be paid and given some allowances so that they can at least buy equipment depending on what it is that they are doing. We also have a scheme for 1 million market women and artisans. Now, this is a scheme that we're working through the BOI, through the Bank of Industry, and the Bill Gates Foundation. The Bill Gates Foundation basically is helping to provide a financial inclusion framework for about 1 million market women and artisans. And also, they are also helping with the conditional cash transfers, by the way. But the most important part of this is that market women and artisans will, through their unions, will be given grants, will be given loans, beg your pardon, which will be supervised by the Bill Gates Foundation and some of these other development partners that we are working with. And the whole idea is to give loans to these market women and the artisans, and also some financial planning, some training in financial planning. They will, of course, all have to open bank accounts that have BVN numbers and all that. And, of course, they will be in the tax net also. So these are some of the social initiatives. Of course, we also have the Universal Healthcare Insurance Scheme, which we're hoping to launch very shortly. The whole idea, of course, of the Universal Healthcare Insurance Scheme is to complement the primary health care, to complement our primary health care scheme. We're planning on having primary health care centers in every single ward. Now, but importantly, the universal health care insurance is one that will guarantee that every Nigerian has access to health care, even where health care may be expensive, at least primary health care. And we're rolling out the Universal Healthcare Insurance Scheme, the MAS scheme. Of course, many will say that that scheme has been in existence, but of course, it has not been, it has simply not been operationalized. I think at the moment there are about 5 to 6 million people under the scheme. Most of them are government workers in the federal and states and all of that. But now we're thinking of rolling this out for the Nigerian generally. The big challenge, of course, with social protection is how to do scale and how to impact the millions of the poor. And the other, of course, is capacity. Everybody talks about how are you going to deliver this, how is this going to work, will it not just be killed in the corruption and all that. But the emphasis, and our emphasis, is on ensuring that as we develop the programs and as we roll out the programs, we are also developing capacity. And that's why we're working with several civil society groups and several international partners, development partners, who are all quite experienced in some of these activities. But the challenges, of course, remain. And but my attitude to that is that we've got to deal with these challenges anyway. I'll just leave the matter of the social protection alone. I'm not going to go into the other aspects because I just want to concern about the questions of the poor. But everything else, must conduce to relieving, to ensuring that we're able to roll back poverty in this country. And the current budget attempts to do that, from infrastructure development to trying to create an enabling environment for local and foreign investment, to agriculture, trying to scale up agriculture. Just listening to what Father Godfrey had to say was just absolutely incredible. And I think that those kinds of initiatives, we need to simply scale them up so that we all can benefit and the entire country can benefit. Also, to incentivizing technology, the startups, the technology startups, there's a lot of work going on doing precisely that, and we're working with several different teams of young people looking at how to develop tech cities, industrial parks, and those kinds of things. We hope that the next few years we'll see some real progress in that direction. But bottom line for most of this is education. We need to reorganize our educational system. The educational system must reflect the new realities of the 21st century. There's no question at all that technology is going to be the deciding factor in the next few years. Whatever it is that we choose to do, whether it's agriculture or whatever, you definitely are going to need technology. And I think that from early school to primary school, we must begin to teach technology. We must begin to expose young people to technology. As I say, that is the fourth industrial revolution. In conclusion, let me just say that our country needs a new tribe of people. I was saying a few days ago to a gathering of individuals who are involved in prosecution, and I was saying to them that we've heard all the standard excuses, when you look at a list of people who have embezzled large sums of money or who have stolen the Commonwealth, they include everybody. You'll find Yorubas, Igbos, Hausas in the same conspiracy, Muslims and Christians in the same conspiracy. There's no argument at all. None of them says, you are from South, so don't participate in this deal. Or you are from North. No. Everybody works together, and they work very actively together, and they stick together like glue. They protect each other, they fight for each other, and they will do anything for each other. That tribe, the new tribe of Nigerians is necessary. A tribe of Nigerians who are not asking questions about where you're from. They're not asking questions about what your religion is. They're simply saying that we've come together as a country, as a nation, and that we can make a great nation of this nation of ours. We can. It's possible. Yeah. It is that new tribe of Nigerians that I think we all should belong. That tribe that doesn't know the North or South or the West, or doesn't even know religion. Just the Nigerian, the great Nigerian. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, sir, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we thank you for that wonderful presentation. And I think we have a special surprise. It's very rare to take him unawares, but this is today happens to be the birthday of our chairman. No, the chairman is not 60. Chairman is about 45 now. Because when I look at the combined age on this table, it's nearly like 1 million. And if we go by gray hair, then the Reverend Father and the Vice President should have a lion's share. But truly, the allied businesses are the reason why government actually does a lot of activations and creating opportunities. And we thank you, sir, for your decision. Please let's give him another round of applause. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. We're ready for the cutting of the cake, and it's for our chairman. So, Mr. Chairman, sir, the Vice President will supervise the cutting of the cake. We're at Ogun State for the 40th anniversary of Ogun State. And I had to ask the president if he brought his knife for cutting of the cake, but here today we have a knife, so we don't. All right. Okay, so the birthday, hold the knife, all right, and then the rest of you will just, Vice President, just put your hand on top of, yes, like that. Then all of you stretch your hands towards, stretch your left hand, no, the left hand. When you're standing on this side, you stretch the left. Okay, no, sir, no, the left. The left. And then those on that side will stretch the, like, sir, you're doing like PDP. Stretch your hand. Yeah, like that, yes. Mr. Jimmy, I'm sorry, sir. All right, like that, yes. Okay, so, sir, what are you turning, sir? 70? No, okay, so we'll just do the birthday count. So we're going to count upwards in 5. We'll count upwards, and it will represent the letters of Jesus, letters of grace. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please give him a round of applause. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. All right, can we take the cake out of sight and out of hearing, please? As the Vice President, His Excellency, Professor Hamid Shipaju will take his leave. Let's give Uncle Felicia Phillips a round of applause. Give him a round of applause, please. Hello? Yes, sir.
All right. Well, everybody, we're back on track. Sorry for that short break in transmission. We had to see the VP off. You must admit, I certainly feel that this session so far has been extremely interesting, and a very solid foundation has been laid for the kind of discussions that we want to proceed with. We are going to have a panel discussion, And obviously, to move forward, we want to create a foundation for that discussion by having a presentation by Dr. Fred Olayele. And from there, we will then begin to have various discussions. I think it is so clear that the depth and length and breadth of the topic itself of wealth, poverty, and human dignity, when you listen to the different interpretations that have been given today, shows that there is a lot to talk about and there is a lot to be given direction in. And I hope that Dr. Fred Olayele will help us with that. Doc, over to you.
I don't know how good I might better hold this in case that is not. Yes, just in case.
I guess all the excellencies are evaporated now. So, Mr. Chairman, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, everyone. The topic at hand this afternoon is a very simple one, yet complicated: wealth, poverty, and human dignity. And I'm going to be looking at it from two perspectives. I'll try to draw lessons from Canada, as well as look at classical liberalism, which is an ideology in economics. I will share some of my insights, as well as concerns about the limits to economic understandings of these intellectual challenges. But before I start, I would quickly like to say thanks to my Canadian friend. We flew in together last night. Paul, where is Paul here? Stevens, okay. If you can stand up, please. Let's. Yeah, so welcome to Nigeria, Paul. While other speakers were speaking, it actually struck me about an incident that happened last night at the airport. We were just about getting a stove, and a young man came to him, asking for money. He didn't feel so good about that, and I had to call the young guy. So Paul did give him some money, coins. He took it, Then I called him. I was so angry, I called him. And I said, while some people are trying to increase foreign investment in Nigeria, to bring outsiders, to bring capital in and create jobs, folks like you are thwarting such efforts. So you've been given some 7 or 8 coins. What would this do in your life? Would this buy you your next car or take you to your next vacation destination? And the guy felt so, he got it. He returned the money, came back to me and apologized, It's unfortunate that 2 folks who tried to liken poverty to the loss of dignity, they've left. But I was going to seriously challenge that thesis, that I do not agree. There are 2 parallels, and I will showcase what I've got here. So what is dignity to start with? Dignity is a universal concept. It provides the basis for all global human rights analysis and discussions. And a number of international human rights bodies confirm this. I'll just reference one. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights says, quote, recognition of the inherent dignity and of the equal and inalienable rights of all members of the human family is the foundation of freedom, justice, and peace in the world. The 1966 International Convention on Civil and Political Rights also says that these rights derive from the inherent dignity of the human person. It is earned. By virtue of being born into this world, you earn dignity. It is no respecter of your abilities or disabilities. It doesn't matter whether you are a man or a woman or a boy or a girl or a celebrity or a politician, a multi-millionaire, a mentally challenged person, an old person, a day-old baby. Dignity has nothing to do with that. The mere fact that you're a human being means that you earn dignity. And so the foundational linkage between human rights and human dignity is very clear. The overarching idea is that of the worth that demands respect. And what I'm saying here is that it is the worth that humans have as humans. So no matter what abilities or disabilities they have, you can't earn or lose dignity, in any circumstance. It is for humans, and that's it, period. Look, let me start by asking a quick question here. And the question is, have you ever seen families who live in abject poverty, in poor communities, but yet live so happily and so dignified? My answer to that is yes. Pardon me. There are so many poor people who can barely make ends meet, but are very, very happy and are dignified. And how about the opposite? There are so many money bags, rich people, who have a lot of money, but yet are not dignified. So we have to be careful to not liken poverty to the loss of our dignity. I, as a person, I do not agree with that notion. So let me bring economics into this. And pardon me if I'm going to say some jargons there. I love economics. That is what I do for a living. I teach economics. Our dignity, is all about freedom, making free choices. And this topic is deeply rooted in classical liberalism, like I earlier said, considering the emphasis on civil liberties, political freedom, the rule of law, and economic freedom. So the core moral insight here is what it means to respect a person as a core moral agent, to give them the freedom to choose. The freedom to choose, good or bad, it doesn't matter. The dignity of a human person is giving that person the freedom to choose. So the moral insight is the basis of classical liberalism, free enterprise. You talk about economic freedom, free markets, free trade, property rights. And when you talk about economic freedom, especially in the West, it's a big thing. In Canada, there's what we call the Fraser Institute. Every year, they release their economic index for North America. They do it internationally and subnationally. And a lot of investors who go to those countries look out for the current ratings. And how do they arrive at those indexes? They look at the policy regimes, taxation regime, royalties, infrastructures. So what that means is governments are always very careful to not toy with people's freedom. The popular Indian Nobel laureate, Sen Mata, once says that the expansion of freedom is both the main end and primary means of development. So for a lot of folks who do international development, the trajectory is changing. The debate is changing. That it's high time that people should now begin to see dignity, see development in terms of dignity. Because when you see development in terms of dignity, then your approach and your mentality changes. So I'll pause for a sec and go back to dignity. Most people, especially in this part of the world, in the developing world, we tend to hold the view that human dignity can be treated in the same version as poverty. They interpret it to mean that those who are at the bottom of the socioeconomic ladder lack dignity. And it is therefore the job of the rest of us in society to help them out. No. It's a good notion to help people who are in need. But the reality is, it is wrong to interpret poverty as lack of dignity. And again, I go back to those in international development. There are popular notions and concepts all over now. There are such things as we don't want your development. There are so many communities who tell people who do charity work to go. We don't want you. We don't want your aid. We don't need your charity. Just go. The Zambian economist, Dambisa Moyo, once was going to fight with Bill Gates, on the issue of debt, aid, and what have you. So the essence of what I'm saying here is that We live in a world where poverty, ravages billions of people, the lives of billions of people. Nearly half of the world's population lives on less than $2 a day. That's a population of about 3 billion people. And even more frightening is the fact that 1.3 billion live in extreme poverty. They live on less than $1.25. So in the last 3 decades, the last 30 years, a lot of progress has been made. Look at China alone. I mean, the Chinese succeeded in lifting about 800 million people out of the 1.1 million in abject poverty for the developing world. Let me repeat that statistics. Maybe it would resonate. Out of the 1.1 billion people living below the poverty line in the developing world, China, between 1981 and 2011, lifted 800 million out of poverty. That's close to 80%. So, but would it be right to now assume that because China improved its poverty rating and moved people out of poverty, would it be right to conclude that China is that country that promotes human dignity? Of course, no. The human rights record in China is something you don't want to hear at all, okay? Or how about economic freedom? How free are economic agents in China? It's one of the worst countries in terms of human rights record and economic freedom. But yet it has succeeded over a 30-year period, to move people out of poverty. So I hope that that rings a bell quickly. The second thing that I wanted to talk about, quite unfortunate that the Vice President has left, but I hope the media people here will do me a favor and make sure to pass this tape to him or the news stations, That's the fact that no matter what we do, we cannot eradicate poverty. I'm not a prophet of doom, but you can't eradicate poverty. Even in the US, in Canada, in the affluent countries, you can't eradicate poverty. You can have social programs and a lot of stuff, but it's not for, I don't know of the next generation, but in the next 50 years, based on all of the indices that we see, it is not going to be that easy to eradicate poverty. So if it won't be easy to eradicate poverty, why then shouldn't we then focus on other things that can make people feel dignified? I don't know if you know about the stories of the Aboriginal people in Canada. In a way, their story is similar to the people in the Niger Delta in Nigeria. So many years ago, those guys were driven away, they got their land and what have you. They were compensated. That story is very similar to the Niger Delta, because of the need to explore and exploit natural resources. Some of them were driven away. I'm not saying it was bad to have driven them away, In economics, you use Pareto analysis to do public analysis, like if it's good for the rest of society. You could always compensate those that would lose some stuff, right? They got money, they were relocated. But the point of the matter is, till today, a lot of those people are sad people. Why? Because they were deprived of the need to vent for themselves, to be able to work, the dignity in labor, to work and do what they know how to do best. Two quick things on policy. In Canada, Canada is a fiscal union, just like the same way we practice fiscal federalism in Nigeria. And there are two major policy tools that government uses to address the issue of dignity, not necessarily to address poverty. You look at equalization payment. It's a transfer program for addressing fiscal disparities among provinces. In the polar region, the northern regions of Canada, 9 months in 1 year, people can hardly move anywhere. It's extremely cold, minus 50, You can't do anything. So if government will not do anything to help address such concerns, people might feel, undignified. But government directly, uses its redistributive policies to address their needs. And they are happy. They stay there. They will not, because of that, go to Vancouver or move to Toronto. They are happy where they are. The second thing is the Canada Health Transfer. This is the largest transfer to provinces and territories, and it is based on the principles of universality, comprehensiveness, portability, accessibility, and public administration. Again, you are a human being. It doesn't matter your affiliations, your social, religious, or ethnic affiliation. A friend of mine, born in Nigeria, immigrated to Canada like myself, 4 years ago, was pregnant. We used to live together in Regina. She was just 4 or 5 months pregnant, and for some reason, the labor pains and other things came, and it started to look like she was going to give birth. They had to airlift this lady from Regina to Winnipeg. And when they got to Winnipeg for another 3 to 4 months, the baby was put in an incubator or whatever, the best of care. That if you would put pecuniaries or put it in money terms, 30 million naira would not give her that. But she did not pay a dime. So but what I'm saying here is that indirectly, government has already enshrined in its constitution and policy tools to give people dignity. About 2-3 years ago, the celebrant for today, Professor Utomi, gave me a copy of his book, The Business Angel as a Missionary, which is a compilation of his reflections as an economic growth activist. And when he asked me to come speak on this topic, I went to my shelf and got a copy of that book again. And the first paragraph, under the prologue, captures the very topic of today adequately, He said in that paragraph that of the many passions that have flavored his existence, 2 are the most enduring. Number 1, near obsessions with finding how to end poverty. And number 2, the quest to uncover how man can institute means of attaining social justice without affecting his freedom to choose and his right to appropriate gains from his labor. That is profound. Profound in the sense that he realizes that there is a need to end poverty. But in doing that, he also accords utmost respect to those who champion free enterprise, the entrepreneurs who take all of the risks in the whole world. If you work for government or work for some people and earn paycheck, you don't know what entrepreneurs go through. I didn't know what it meant to be an entrepreneur until like 3 years ago, to when I started some ventures. So, this whole topic, reflects to a large extent a lot of the things that he has stood for, in his struggle to actualize a better Nigeria. Jonathan Glennon, with Save Children in the UK, said something that, again, is profound for me. He said the saddest thing in the world is not poverty. He said it's loss of dignity. So, folks, let's not mix things up here. It's not good to be poor, and whatever policy tools or actions that we can take to eradicate poverty, we should. But it is wrong to feel that once you are poor, you have no dignity. No. I left Nigeria about 10 years ago, used to work for Citibank here, but I left 10 years ago to get my graduate degrees. And my first major shock, I think I shared this story with Dr. Otomi before, I don't know if he remembers. My first major shock in Canada was when I bought my first home, I needed to fix something in the basement. So I called a plumber to come see what was wrong. And the normal Niger mentality, right? Okay, plumber, I'm upstairs. As he come, yes, that's the basement, da. He spent 40 minutes to diagnose and do all of that, and came back. Brought out a sheet of paper and, put something and gave it back to me. So I looked at it, said, okay, I've done the diagnosis. This is what we need to fix, and if you want to go ahead, let's sign a contract. But for this piece that I've done, you will pay this much. Here's my phone number. If you want to get the other one done, give me a call. Thanks, bud. See ya. So I called him back like, You haven't even done, he said he has to run for another job now, just give me a call. And he left. So I called my wife, Titi, come, she was laughing, my wife is more exposed than me. The other sisters were all born in the U.S., so she was used to those kind of things before me. She started laughing. But what I'm saying in essence here is that in those parts of the world, it's already a part and parcel of who they are. It's already a part and parcel of the system. You see an old man who is 90 years old walking by the street, you see the kids, grandchildren walking by. Hi, dad, hi, grandpa, they are going. They don't need to help. And even if you try to offer some help, that may be rude. You are trying to tell him or her that he or she is incapacitated. Or you go to the bank, you see people who are on wheelchairs, and you are trying to get them closer to the tellers. No, you don't have to do that. Okay, there's dignity in what they do, and you have to recognize that. Let me try to round up here so I don't... So in a nutshell, the fact of the matter is that for years to come, people will still begin to live below the poverty line. Access to good roads, healthcare, electricity, safe water, and other critical services will be elusive to some people for years to come. There's nothing we can do about that, because that's the fundamental problem of society. Resources are scarce, and that is the whole lesson. That's why we study economics. That's why you have political leaders and government. You have to make strategic choices to allocate resources and fill more pressing needs. But the bad news is that such exclusion will be based on socioeconomic status. If you want to help people out of poverty, or you are trying to see those who cannot escape the poverty line, it will be based on socioeconomic dynamics. But guess what? For human dignity, it is a transformational concept that knows no bounds, no social, economic, religious, ethnic, or gender barriers. So I brought another partner to Nigeria last year, or was it 2 years ago, Pierre? We had come here to see how we can leverage our Canadian expertise to help address some of the infrastructure gaps in Nigeria, at government level and all of that. And he came, again, we went to Prof and we were discussing on how we could help to address some of these issues in Nigeria. And we had some meetings, with some corporate sector leaders. Professor Tommy was there, and some of the talks, seemed to be right. We were happy. When we got back to our hotel rooms, my Canadian friend said, wow, that guy is highly connected. He knows people. He is also very respected. In Nigeria, he's a corporate guy, board level executive. I said, yes. And then 2 days later, we went to Prof's house. And Prof, when we had finished and we were about leaving, Prof said, guys, I would like to invite you to an event on Saturday. My friend was very curious. He said, oh, yes, we'd love to come. Where is it? Prof said, okay, I will tell my staff to give you a face cap and a yellow T-shirt or something. We'll be walking the streets of Ikoyi and Maryland to identify with the poor people and the girls that were kidnapped and all of those kind of things. And he looks at me like, what? He said, okay, we'll get back to him. When we got back to the hotel, I said, Fred, what kind of person is your friend? He knows the president, and yet he wants to go march on the street. I thought you said in Nigeria there is this class thing, and I said, so that tells you that he's not, he's a rare gem, and really we should appreciate Dr. Otomi. He's a rare gem, and for me, I say this a lot, I like a lot of people and I don't easily say, oh, this one is my role model or whatever. But he's that one guy who is able to sit in the boardroom and discuss billion-dollar transactions, discuss free enterprise, entrepreneurship, economic growth, capitalism. And at the same time, when it is time to do activism and to provide safety nets for the weak and vulnerable, to care for the poor, the widows and widowers, he's that guy. I haven't seen any other in Nigeria. I was born, I bred here before I left 10 years ago. He's that guy who does it passionately without conditions. A lot of politicians claim to do that when it's close to the electoral cycle, You give scholarships to people and they must post with pictures that you can put on your Facebook page, so you can use that to canvass for votes. So for me, that is the one thing that really endears him to me. He's a guy who does not criticize entrepreneurship. He's a guy who realizes and believes that there is dignity in labor. If you would put your resources and time and intellects together, you should be able to share in the gains of your wealth of experience and risk. And at the same time, that when it's time to help the poor people and put them together, we should do. I will end my analysis by saying that to make any meaningful progress on the issue of human dignity, everybody must join hands to do this. NGOs, labor leaders, religious leaders, faith-based organizations, and other civil society actors. Government and also international development agencies must refocus. Mr. Glenn says, quote, development is dignity, or it is nothing. The opposite, that is, development without dignity, is not worth having. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Olayele. Thank you. I think that we're going to have to find an opportunity to sit around the table and really have a bantering session, because your point of view I totally disagree with. But then again, let us just move on. You've talked on quite a lot of issues, and we're not receiving presentations, but we're just going to receive some comments from the panel, and we'll start from Toshino.
Thank you very much. I don't think I would make a comment yet. I have to say something about parts. A lot of things have been said about him. I've always told him that there is need, if it is possible, to clone him. As a party, we need to clone you so that we throw you into different parts of this country so that you can make contributions. He's somebody who has packed in about 120 years into 60 years. And I just pray God will continue to give him the strength. Sometimes I get worried about him, especially when he went into politics and he was traveling about. I said, goodness, this man, and he was still paying attention to his other areas. It's a very rare species. But thank God for your life. You will live long. You'll be around for a long, long time, by God's grace. Now, my worry is about the youths of Nigeria. Quite often, I get embarrassed when I notice that Nigerians are so beggarly. I don't know if you've experienced it. You're coming from the airport, you are going, Rice, Oga, safe trip, what do you have for us? Oga, welcome, what do you have for us? This is not right. People are paid to do a job, and they are saluting you, they are asking for gratification. To me, that is not dignifying. They are paid. It's not that they are not paid. They are paid. But it is in them to beg. Now, CVL, Value is the middle name of PAT's organization. Value. I have had Pat used that word in his books over and over and over again. Values and dignity. Why is it that it is difficult for people to maintain some self-worth? Why is it that we have to chase over net worth? I once had I saw a TV program once where a woman was being interviewed, and she said, she asked the son, what will you like to be when you grow up? Whom will you like to be like? And he said, Uncle Judy. He said, Uncle Judy. Why Uncle Judy? He said, Uncle Judy has 4 jeeps. That is net worth as against self-worth.
It's Federal Medical Center. At that time, I was told Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Umuahia was like going to Zed Harvard Medical Hospital or wherever to be born. And quickly, less than a year of being born in a family of a produce merchant, in our house, those days, agriculture was driving the economy. Less than a year, civil war broke out. From living in our own house, we started running from one village to another, ended up in a camp. And what my parents told me that I kept asking them in all those journeys was, when are we going to return home? And what was uppermost in the mind of kids, if you go to the Northeast today, the IDP camps, it's not actually that they are not fed, it's that they don't have choice. If I want to get up from this and go somewhere, can I do it? If I don't want to eat beans that is served today, because in most refugees camps, it's actually dry food that is served. It's yam, it's beans, because you can store it for months and years, and it will not rotten. And that is your daily lot. So for me, dignity is the foundation of everything. And it leads me to ask the question, actually in our society today, is our main problem poverty, or actually lack of dignity? And if you ask me, it's lack of dignity. Because
begging, he says, I have the kind of value that says I must maintain my dignity. So sometimes we have the choice of being dignified or acting in a dignified way or not. Sometimes we don't have a choice and we're really, really stuck. On that note, let me just thank our panelists and our speakers. I know that we really tolerate, I hope you're really tolerating the fact that we're running late, and I want to invite the compere to move on to the next session. Please, a round of applause. I know it was short, but that's the way it is. Sorry.
Thank you very much, sir. Once again, I am being exposed for my incompetence in the area of proper pronunciation, having to speak after the chairman. Please give him a round of applause. It's always a delight listening to him. Yes, so at this junction, we are going to invite another academician who, if you were around yesterday, you'll be familiar with, to talk very briefly, for 2 minutes about a couple of books that were launched yesterday.
Mr. Chairman, maybe all protocols observed. Ambassador, sir, Your Excellency, my name is Michael Okom, Associate Professor, Faculty of Law, University of Calabar. The yesterday we presented 3 books to the public. First one is The Art of Leading, and we also have Why Nations Are Poor, and the third one, Nigeria's Political Economy and the Courtship with Poverty, which is a compendium of readings in honor of Professor Pat Utomi. The Art of Leading is a book that emphasizes that leadership is not about position or power, but about harnessing the common resources for the common good. It encapsulates Professor Utomi's ideas about the kind of leadership that this country needs in order for us to be able to move from the backwoods of disintegration that we are in now and become major players in the global economy. Uniquely, it teaches about how you, as an individual, can also become a leader in your own right and contribute to the global effort to bring about the much-needed development that we're all craving for to win the battle against poverty. It's not about personal perverted idiosyncrasies as opposed to fashioning a paradigm for social transformation. It's a very important material. You should pick a copy of that book. It's outside there, and it's for 5,500 naira only. And then the book, Why Nations Are Poor, articulates the various social, economic, and political causes of the retardation of countries in the vice grip of poverty, and proffers practical ways by which nations can liberate themselves. And the lessons can be personalized to you as a person. You know why you are not really actualizing your potential, maximum potential. When you apply these same principles, you can lift yourself out of the unsavory situation you may find yourself. It's a must read. And then finally, I can see the pressure is already on me behind here. The book, this is The Art of Leading, and then this is Nigeria's Political Economy and the Courtship with Poverty, put together by the creme de la creme of Nigerian academicians. It contains an expanded version of the 2014 convocation lecture that Professor Utomi delivered in the University of Calabar when he came as our guest lecturer. And then there are other articles that are tangential to the core issues of political philosophy espoused by the professor. You can find something here on religion and national renewal. You find something on poverty-related issues, find something on causes of poverty, issues of salary, issues of federalism, issues pertaining to aviation, issues about arms proliferation in the Niger Delta, women issues, ECOWAS issues. It's a compendium, it's a library, part power if you like. And I think everyone should be able to pick a copy of this book. It's just 7,000 naira. And I commend the materials to you and I believe that it will be an epiphanous experience for you as you go through these materials. Once again, please put your hands together for the author of these books and the subject of honor, the honoring. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you, sirs.
Thank you very much, Dr. Okom. Very quickly, time is fast spent. I would invite a very, very distinguished young man who Professor Utomi talked about earlier on their trip to the US to come introduce the next activity. Please join me in welcoming Kingsley Banwell.
Standing on existing protocols, thank you, Prof, and congratulations in advance. And well, the next activity is a debate. It's called the Pat Utomi Prize for Students' Debates on Public Policy. Today we have 4 debaters who are coming to slug it out so that we will know who the first, second, and third are. What they are fighting for is the Star Prize that has been sponsored by none other than the celebrant, Professor Pat Utomi. The first prize is 750,000 naira educational scholarship, and then the second prize is 500,000 educational scholarship, and then the third prize 250,000 naira educational scholarship. I thought we'll get a round of applause for. All right, so right away, let me first of all ask the judges to just come sit in front here. We have 4 judges, Sola Fagorosi, and then from One Life Initiative, Shola, please could you just come forward? And then we have Isioma Utomi, Could you just come sit in front? Come on, let's celebrate them as they come forward. Then we have Mr. Tunde Makun, Coach. We call him Coach. Thank you, Coach, for joining. And then last but not least, Mr. Rashid Adebenro. So we just have a seat there, and they will all be passed on the scoring sheets. And then we have 4 debaters. And how did we arrive at this? Hundreds of debaters applied, sent in a 2-minute video, and then we had the independent people score that. And then 16 of them were invited to Abuja on 22nd of January for a preliminary, and Prof spoke to them on phone. And that 16 went through a whole process that we arrived at the 4 today. And they are here with their family and friends. And in fact, one of them has secondary school students even came to give support. So this is quite amazing from African Church Model College, Ifako Jaye Press Club. They came to give support. All right, so our 4 debaters, will they please, we have this seat there. There's a cameraman there. We would like them 4 to just go sit there right away. We have Oluwadara Olaniyan. Let's put our hands together as they move forward. Temi Wumi Akimu Lewa. Can you move forward? And then we have Elizabeth Nwanweze and Abigail Nwangu. So, quickly. The first debate will happen right away. We have 2 speakers coming to speak, team 2. And the topic is skill acquisition, not tertiary education, is the key to fostering massive job creation in Nigeria. Yes. There's a seat there, yeah. So that's the seat we want you to sit, and then. So the first team that will be debating, they are coming to debate on the topic, skill acquisition, not tertiary education, is the key to fostering massive job creation in Nigeria. Yeah, so they will sit in there. And the 2 debaters are Oluwadara Olaniyan and Temiwumi Akimuwale. Oluwadara is speaking for, and then Temiwumi is speaking against. And then once you come in, you just have 4 minutes to make your pitch, and that's all the time you have. There is no rebuttal, no time for rebuttal. So make all your points in just that one debate, and then the judges will decide. So let's put our hands together as I'll ask the first 2 debaters to just come over here now. Oluwadara and Temiwumi, and the first speaker will be Oluwadara. You say the name of institution you're from, and then you have the floor. Let's put our hands together for them as they've been here all morning, energized and pumped up. But this is the time to show yourself. The first speaker will be Oluwadara, and yes, step forward, and he's speaking for the topic, the skill acquisition, not tertiary education, is the key to fostering job creation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Oluwadara from the University of Ibadan, speaking for the topic, skill acquisition, not tertiary education, is the key to massive job creation. A skill, according to the businessdictionary.com, can be defined as an ability or capacity acquired through systematic, deliberate, and sustained efforts to smoothly and adaptively carry out complex activities and jobs involving cognitive functions, technical functions, and people relations. Therefore, skill acquisition can be defined as the obtainment or development of such abilities. Also, tertiary education refers to academic pursuits undertaken after secondary education. With the National Bureau of Statistics reporting that over 17 million Nigerians are unemployed and over 26 million Nigerians are underemployed, it is crystal clear that job creation is a necessity for the Nigerian economy. It is obvious that tertiary education has failed to meet the job creation need in Nigeria. According to a report published by the University of Uyo on the 22nd of September 2015 titled Entrepreneurial Education, a Panacea for Youth Development in Nigeria, it was stated that the curricula for tertiary education in Nigeria is tailored towards preparing our youth to work for others and seek formal employment. The issue tertiary education has failed to answer over the years is, if everyone is an employee, who will be the employer? It is this loophole that skill acquisition can take care of, which makes it the key to massive job creation. The Daily Independent reported on the 14th of February 2015 that stakeholders in the industrial sector of Nigeria's economy have constantly emphasized the need for skill acquisition as a way of developing entrepreneurs. Also, the Journal of Educational Policy and Entrepreneurial Research, published in 2014, noted that entrepreneurial development can be made possible through skill acquisition. All these highlight the relevance of skill acquisition in the production and development of entrepreneurs who are in fact job creators. This proves beyond a doubt that skill acquisition is the key to massive job creation. At this point of the debate, it is essential to point out that the bone of contention is not whether tertiary education creates jobs or not, which it does. Rather, the point of this debate is, what is the key to massive job creation? That is, what is the key to the creation of jobs for a majority of the population? The Deputy Director and Training Manager of the Nigerian Enterprise Development Program, Mr. James Abimbola, stated that skill acquisition in the program is designed to train middle-level skilled manpower. These middle-level skilled workers make up the largest percentage of the workforce. This shows that skill acquisition can imbibe in youth the skills that will give them access to a large range of occupational opportunities. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that as of 2013, 66% of jobs in the USA did not require any form of tertiary education and required only skill. In less developed countries like Nigeria, with lower industrial and technological development, it is obvious that such jobs that require only skill will be more. This shows that skill acquisition even provides people with more job opportunities than tertiary education. An example is agriculture, a sector in Nigeria which has not been paid enough attention. Agriculture is a timeless thing, as no matter how bad the economy gets, people must eat. Therefore, teaching youth skills relevant to agriculture could be an employment goldmine and could greatly boost employment and standard of living. Similar ventures include construction, hairdressing, fashion designing, and electronic repairs. In conclusion, we cannot spend many years in school only to let society educate us. The goal of any proper educational system should be knowledge and skill. And I once again assert that skill acquisition is the key to massive job creation. Thank you.
All right. Ola Dara has fired the first shot, speaking for the topic. And now, let's put our hands together as we welcome Temi Wumi Akimu Lewa as she comes to speak against the topic. Thank you. I think we could do a lot better in giving these debaters some applause.
Good afternoon, Chairman, judges, ladies and gentlemen. I am Temi Wumi Akimulea from the University of Ibadan, and I will be speaking saying that tertiary education is the key necessary for fostering massive job creation in Nigeria. The fourth edition of the National Policy on Education, released in 2004, defines tertiary education as a form of education which happens after secondary school in a university, monotechnic, or polytechnic. It goes without saying that tertiary education is aimed at impacting knowledge and skills in a bid to produce intellectuals who are not only self-reliant but are also capable of innovation. Innovation, the key to massive job creation. It is the clear-cut difference between Fatima, who has learned how to make wara, local cheese from her grandmother, and Bola, a food technology graduate from the University of Ibadan, who runs a cheese production farm in Agbara with thousands of employees. Fatima has skills, one that puts food on her table, but because she lacks certain knowledge that can only be derived from a tertiary education, it becomes a Herculean task for Fatima to successfully manage a job creation platform such as a cheese production plant. Skills are necessary, but skills without the backing of a tertiary education will do very little in job creation. According to an article by All African Media, the top employers of labor in Nigeria are products of tertiary institutions, with Aliko Dangote topping the list, a product of Al-Azhar University, Egypt, with over 26,000 employees in Nigeria. It is obvious that the promotion of job creation requires the acquisition of a tertiary education, which encompasses knowledge, skills, and innovation. My opponent has decided to capitalize on the various problems facing the tertiary education system. But when you have a cut on your finger, do you remove the finger and request a finger transplant? No! This is exactly what the federal government had in mind with the integration of entrepreneurship education into our tertiary school curriculums. Our youths are currently being trained in our universities to become wealth creators and job creators. This is the pathway to fostering massive job creation in Nigeria, and it is something that we have started, and it will work. Lastly, the skills my opponent so boldly advocates for has failed woefully in providing massive jobs. A very good example is what we see happening in our NYSC camps around the nation, where our youth corpers are taught various skills. But has it solved the unemployment problem? No. What we need is massive industrialization in Nigeria. Nigeria needs to stop importing goods by reviving the defunct industries in Nigeria. Think about how many jobs we could create if the textile and agricultural industries are revived. Think about it. The key to fostering massive job creation is industrialization. However, the industries will not survive on vocational skills. They will only survive on the technical skills that are products of a tertiary education. I do not agree more with Nelson Mandela when he said that education is the most powerful agent of change. And this change, I make bold to say, is the introduction of educational reforms that will improve the quality of our graduates and will make them change their thinking, causing a paradigm shift. Our graduates begin to think as wealth creators through job creation. This change means that Nigeria is on a golden path to fostering job creation through tertiary education. Thank you.
All right. This is getting interesting. All right, so the first team, and then we just have one more team to debate. Let's welcome our two debaters, Elizabeth and Abigail, as they come forward. Their topic is, our judges are already scoring, looking at different factors in the debate of the two debaters that just debated now. And so the next topic is renewable energy and not hydro/thermal power plants is the key to electricity sufficiency in Nigeria. We have two debaters that are going to be taking this head on. Elizabeth is speaking for, and then Abigail Nwangu is speaking against. Let's welcome Elizabeth as she comes to make her case. I think we can do a lot better.
Good afternoon, Nigeria. What do we have to show for 55 years dependence on hydrothermal power plants? Radical decrease in electricity supply, geometric increase in power bills, over 120 million Nigerians literally in the dark, and now I fear that power might go off as I speak. However, shall we look upon our failure as the correction for our failure? The answer is no. Therefore, I affirm that renewable energy is the key to electricity sufficiency in Nigeria. Electropedia defines renewable energy as energy derived from sources that can be replenished on a human time scale, like sun or wind. It uses solar panels or arrays to gain ultraviolet rays from the sun or wind turbines, converting kinetic to electrical energy. A hydrothermal power plant is one where water or gas is mechanically harnessed to ignite electricity. For example, Kainji Dam. And sufficiency is the quality of being good enough. But good is too good a word to describe Nigeria's power system. Our power system has become a dark, dangerous dungeon deserving direction. And renewable energy is the key to that direction. Renewable energy enjoys worldwide acceptance. For at least 30 nations have renewable energy producing over 30% of their electricity supply. World Energy Outlook 2015 projects that the United States, China, Denmark, and India would have achieved 100% use of renewable energy by the year 2050. Nigeria's potential topples this, as it is estimated that when 1% of Nigeria's land area is powered by about 5% efficiency of solar technology, the output will be about 400,000 megawatts, which is projected to be enough for Nigeria over the next 14 years. Now imagine a slight increase in that efficiency and 3 times that output, that will be goodbye to our up-NEPA syndrome and hello to progress. Renewable energy is the key to electricity sufficiency because it is decentralized, it is cost-effective, it is readily available, and of course, it is renewable. First, our first speaker of today mentioned that a pillar to the third industrial generation is distributed energy regime. And with renewable energy, distributed and modular systems over a wide geographical area, a severe weather storm in one area does not cut out power of the entire region. For instance, renewable energy projects in Northeast America survived Hurricane Sandy in 2012 with minimal disruption. In contrast, the overflow of Kainji and Jebba dams in 2012 maimed electricity supply across 6 states for over a month. This makes renewable energy the better deal in times of contingency, as we will not have all our eggs in one basket. Furthermore, thanks to the Union of Concerned Scientists who predicted in 2014, as they revealed, that once built, renewable energy operates on 25% lower cost, making prices stable over time. Ladies and gentlemen, there will be less pressure on fuel, and less pressure on fuel means that there will be price reduction, causing more cash flow and financial availability to sustain renewable energy. Also, it is important that we begin to harness our intense sunlight in Nigeria. For if nations of the world now stand shoulders at par with us on fuel, they will definitely crawl behind us on sunshine. Reporter Charles Okpara Ndudu in This Day newspaper, March 15, 2015, stated that Borno, Cross River, and the Federal Capital Territory alone can produce 16.83 kilowatt hours per meter square per day electricity only by sunshine. Now imagine sunshine from all 36 states and wind power from 36 states.
Time up.
Rather than exporting our wealth, we can now begin to export electricity if we so desire. Finally, I must say that renewable energy, though it seems so big, my friend always says, little by little, a little becomes a lot. Nigeria, let us renew our energy in renewable energy. Thank you.
Thank you. The last speaker for today on this debate is Abigail Nwangu. He's coming to speak for hydro-thermal power plants as the key to electricity sufficiency in Nigeria. I think she deserves an applause.
The world is on a constant quest for change, for something new. But the thing with new is that it does not always result in something better. For many years, Nigeria has gotten its electricity from hydrothermal power plants. However, there is a new kid on the block, renewable energy. And it has been fallaciously portrayed to the world as a better means of generating electricity. However, I stand here to urge the crowd, the audience, to look beyond this facade and see that hydrothermal power plants has always been, and still is, the best means of generating electricity in the country. How did I arrive at this conclusion? I'll take this topic from the top. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nwangu Abigail Chinwoku, an undergraduate of Nnamdi Azikiwe University. I'm here to speak on the topic. Renewable energy, not hydrothermal power plants, is a key to electricity sufficiency in Nigeria. When we talk of hydrothermal, as technical as it sounds, it simply refers to energy generated from water, while thermal refers to energy generated from heat gotten from combusted coal. Nigeria currently has about 4,500 megawatts being generated by 14 generating stations, 3 of which are hydro, 11 are thermal. Now, why is hydrothermal better than renewable energy? The first is the ability of hydrothermal to generate energy in large quantities. Now, when I say large quantities, I mean to feed over 170 million Nigerians enough electricity. This cannot be done by renewable energy. Why do I say so? Renewable energy can only act as supplementary, as a backup, and not as the key source of electricity. What is more, It can also make the electricity system stable and reliable. You see, to have a good electricity system, there are certain factors that must be placed on ground. What are these factors? You must be able to meet peak demands. You must be able to have re-establishment of supply after blackout, just like what we experienced some few minutes earlier. There was blackout, but as fast as it came, there was light. That was done by hydrothermal power and not renewable energy. Also, renewable energy disadvantagedly requires a large space, large agricultural space for it to be set up because it works with solar panels and wind turbines. Agriculture should never come second to electricity. Electricity should be second to agriculture, mind me. Also, hydropower guarantees energy and price stability. River water is a domestic resource which is not subject to market fluctuation. Also, hydropower contributes to the storage of drinking water. That is a plus for we humans. It also collects reservoir used for irrigation. That's a plus for agriculture. It also helps in controlling vulnerability to floods and droughts. That is also a plus for environment. You have one stone killing 3 birds. What is more, thermal power on its own requires less space. It is good for agriculture. It's cheaper. You see, installing renewable energy costs a lot. It is simply a symptom of penny wise but pound foolish. Also, thermal power on its own can be installed at any place, irrespective of the existence of coal. This is not so for renewable energy, which is susceptible to weather, and so you need favorable climate conditions as a prerequisite to installing them. You see, I'm not blind to the fact that the electricity in the country has problems, but to solve a problem, you need to go to the source. The source of our problems has been identified, and true, hydropower thermal is not among the source of our problems. Our problems of electricity involve factors like power funding of the organization, lack of preventive and routine maintenance, vandalizing and pilfering of equipment used to generate electricity, and high indebtedness. If these things are solved, we'll have electricity in the country and not necessarily changing the source by means of which we'll get this electricity. I'll also want to point out this to my opponent. You see, renewable energy look very fancy. You see the solar panels and the wind turbines. You install these things, children will throw stones at them and break them in a day. They'll also be subject of vandalism. The means to generating electricity in the country is hydrothermal power and not renewable energy. Thank you.
Please, can we do a lot better? At this point, I ask the 4 debaters to just rise, take a bow while the rest of us one more time applaud all of them. They've done a great job. And then I now welcome back the master of ceremony to continue the activities. The judges will take time to sum this up, and at the end of, before we go today, we'll announce the scores and we will know who the winners are. Thank you.
Another round of applause for them, please. You know, a lot of times we hear them talk about women empowerment, women empowerment. I think firsthand, I have learned how dangerous women can be. I mean, young man, okay, I'll wait for the results to come out. You know, when we were much younger, if your brother went out and he was beaten in a fight, what do when he gets home? You beat him the more and say, how dare you go and disgrace us? Young man, pray, start praying now. Pray in tongues that you win. If not, we the men will address you after this meeting. Okay, jokes aside. You see, you may call me a chauvinist, but I take pride in being a man. I think it is indeed a very, oh, sorry, I forgot Mrs. Utomi is still here. Sorry, ma'am. The women are actually at the forefront of, jokes aside, a lot of times we men go to parties and we don't even go with gifts. I'm told that the Widow Support Center that Professor Utomi is associated with has a gift for Professor Utomi. How many of you men came here with a gift? There you are. The verdict has been delivered.
Tomorrow is the
Please.
Tomorrow is the birthday.
The chairman, you see, this is why education before was better than now. Did you see the way the chairman skillfully defended women? Thank you very much, sir. Please. Okay, we're waiting for you, ma. We also have a gentleman trying to defend the male position, Dominion Judah, the founder of Afric Arise Leadership Center and YGLC, Young Global Leaders Connect. He's also here to present a gift. Yes. Prof, your people are here. And when I say prof, I don't just mean the male prof. I mean both the male and female prof, if you get what I mean. All right, thank you very much. Aha, I was wondering.
For all you have done for us. Hallelujah. We are grateful, oh Lord. We are grateful, oh Lord. We are grateful, oh Lord. For all you have done for us. Hallelujah, we are grateful, oh Lord. Daddy, we thank you for all you have been doing for we, Widows Support Center, and our children. We just come to take this to thank you. Happy God will guide and protect you and your family in Jesus' name.
You know,